Hello. I'm sorry about that. I'm late. I'm sorry that I wasn't here initially, but I wanted to make sure that everything was up and running and ready to go for you today. So, welcome. I am Dr. Grant Gibson, and this is the Be Unhackable Book Club. But we're actually going a little bit further. We're going to teach you the next step. We're going to tell you what you can do next now that we're here, now that we're ready. So, first things first, as I get things set up, I want to show you a quick little video.
Human knowledge once doubled every 1,000 years. Today, it's every 12 hours. No wonder we can't keep up. Welcome to the attention economy, where you are the product. In this digital landscape, they keep score with eyeballs and eardrums. Your attention, even for a few seconds, translates into cold, hard cash they're willing to manipulate and even hack you for. The truth is, you're getting hacked every day, and you don't even realize it. Better than money, power, or connections, Unhackable is the new secret weapon of superachievers, the ones who live their dreams. Ditch the hype. Tap into hope. Time to become unhackable. By Carrie Oberbrunner. Unhackablebook.com. Available wherever books are sold.
Okay, so that's what I want to introduce to you today. Many of you have actually gone through the Unhackable Book Club, so you were actually introduced already to the book. That being said, there is much more that we can do for you, and that's where we're at right now. So what I'd like to do is share my screen, and we'll actually show you what's going on, and we'll go from there. I will be coming back and forth because there's going to be times when I want to just literally talk right to you and help you know what's going on. So let's find this screen here. So there we go. We actually brought it up. So we've got basically the Unhackable program where you can actually reach your goals, live your dream, and enjoy an extraordinary life. And the purpose here is really to introduce you to the book. So, the Unhackable book here, and I've got one here, and this is something that I want to get in everybody's hands, and so that's one of those things that we're actually going to talk about a little bit here. But the Unhackable book is a revolutionary way of looking at the world to help you understand what's going on and say, okay, I want to get control. I want to really reach my goals and live my dream each and every day. So who is this for? First things first, if you like where your life is and you don't think it could get better, this is not for you. In fact, if you are unwilling to dedicate yourself to making this happen, this is also not for you. What this is for individuals that want to reach their goals and live their dream, and they're willing to work for it, because this is not an easy process. This is going to take you through a 30-day process of pretty in-depth teaching. It'll give you the opportunity to get your hands on a pretty in-depth teaching. So if you're saying, okay, I don't need that, I'm not looking for a way to become more productive, I'm not looking for a way to reach my goals 500 times faster, you might as well jump right off, because I'm going to waste your time. Because this is only for those individuals that are willing to say, okay, I'm ready to reach my goals and live my dream in 2021, starting tomorrow, starting as soon as you possibly can, right? So my goal for this program here is to help you understand that the only way that you can reach your goals and live your dream in 2021 is through the Becoming Unhackable program. So the only way to do that is to let me help you through this program. So why should you be listening to me? Why should it matter? Well, let me tell you a story. And I'm going to jump right back to the screen here and just kind of look you face to face. Let me tell you a story again. So when I was very young, I was 2-3 years old, I actually had went in and actually had my what am I saying? I was cross-eyed, so I had surgery on my eyes when I was very, very young. Was cross-eyed. They fixed one eye, then I was cross on the other eye, fixed the other eye, and from that point, I wanted to be a doctor. And the process that I was trying to do to become a doctor was basically to get the education and move that direction, right? And so at a very young age, I decided I was going to be a doctor, and everything I was doing was focusing towards that. I was working towards that. I was trying to get there. And then I started school. And as I got into school, I had a stutter when I got in front of people. I couldn't talk without a stutter. And I had problems saying my S's and my R's. And because of that, individuals are looking at me going, okay, he needs some help. And they put me in a class. It's called a resource class. I think they do it a better way now, but back then it was resource class. You were taken out of your class, you're put in a special class to learn about how to fix my stuttering and how to fix those letters that I couldn't say. And because of that, I started thinking I was not smart. I was not like everybody else. And my only goal was to be like everybody else. And the problem with that is that each and every day I was shown that I was different. I needed to go to this special class for individuals that couldn't do things the way they're supposed to be done. And because of that, I started to wonder if I could truly be a doctor, if I could truly reach that goal. Now, the good news is I had parents that taught me a principle. I didn't know what it was at the time, but taught me a principle to help me become the best version of me. And these parents were the reason that I actually am a doctor today. So once I became a doctor, I was moving forward saying, okay, life is great. Things are going exactly how I want to. This is great. But then I kept setting these particular goals, these things I wanted to do. As I became a podiatrist, I realized that there are individuals that have a peripheral neuropathy, which is pain and numbness in their feet that they cannot control. And really what it comes down to, I'm sitting there going, okay, I've got these individuals that are struggling that really need my help. And there's not a way to do it. There's no way to do it. And so I started creating plans and creating ideas that I needed to create a program. And I worked really hard over several years to work on getting this program and try to get it in place and try to find ways to do it. And I had help. I hired coaches. I joined a mastermind, all to make this happen. But I kept running into a wall. I kept not reaching that. And so I'm working harder and harder and harder, and I'm just not reaching that goal. And then I met an individual. I met Carrie Overbrunner. I met the author of the Be Unhackable book, and I realized that he had a secret. Now, let me tell you this. This was from this book at the time, The Elixir Project, which is where he first introduced the unhackable process, the unhackable. And I reached out to him and says, okay, I need that because I need it in my life. And the more I went through this program, the more I realized I'm going, okay, this is a very powerful process to help me reach my goals and live my dream and get there 500 times faster. Isn't that something you want to do? Don't you want to get there 500 times faster yourself? Well, guess what? He gave me the opportunity to become a coach for this program, even before there was a program that I could coach for. He says, this is coming. You can jump in. I jumped right in because it was so important to me that I could share this opportunity with each of you, that I could reach out and say, okay, I want to help you reach any goal that is important to you. I want to help you start to live the dream, whatever that dream is. And I wanted to help you do that. And so as the Unhackable book was coming out, he opened it up for other coaches. I was the very first coach, but there are now close to, I guess it's over 100 coaches that actually now can coach on the Unhackable program because it's that important. It's that strong a message. And that's what I'm going to teach you today is what this message is and why it's important. So let me jump back to slides here and we will go from there. And I'm going to do just slides for a minute to help you get through this process. So I'm a certified coach, speaker, and trainer in the Unhackable message. And just to give myself, I guess, a little bit more credibility so you know really who I am, I'm going to let Carrie Oberbrunner talk a little bit.
Hi, my name is Carrie Oberbrunner, the author of the book Unhackable. And it is my deep honor today to introduce you to my friend, Dr. Brant Gibson. Dr. Brant has been personally trained by myself and my team, and he is fantastic at helping other people become unhackable in work and life. This book is literally a bestseller and changing people's lives all over planet Earth. And Dr. Brant is one of the very first certified speakers, coaches, and trainers on this content. I highly encourage you to book with him today and to learn how he can help you and your team reach new levels.
Perfect. So let's start right there. So what we're going to teach you today, where we're going to take you, is we're going to help you discover how to tap into your hidden abilities, make your best ideas come true, become 500% more productive in work and life, and live your dream. So, are you interested? Do you think that's something that you would benefit from? Well, first things first. We only have a short period today, so I'm going to give you a training. This is just the very tip of the iceberg, just because of our limited time. And the point is, we're doing an event. That's today, but we have a limited time. So at the end here, I'm going to invite you to step in, if it's of importance to you, for additional content, additional process, a process that can help you truly become unhackable. And if you were in the 30-day book club, you've kind of got a taste of what's going to happen. But this is so much deeper, so much more, so much more hands-on. And in fact, I'm going to do, we can actually help you so much more. So let me get into kind of the training today so I can teach you these things. And if you find that the training is all you need, that you say, okay, now I know what I need to do and I'm going to move forward with that, great. That's why I'm doing this. I want to make sure you have that opportunity to really make that difference in your life. So what would need to happen to make these next 30 days your most amazing month on planet Earth? What would need to happen to make 2021 the year when you really reach your goals, live your dream, and enjoy that extraordinary life that you deserve to live? I'm going to invite you to take a second, write down 1, 2, or 3 things that you think you would need to do. It's very important that you do this, because basically what I'm inviting you to do is buy in, become part of this. Is this something you'd be interested in? Is this something you could do? If you take a second and write 1, 2, 3 things down, then you'll know if this is important and this is valuable to you. So as you're doing that, let me introduce you to a friend of mine, Tanisha Williams. A couple of years ago, she also got in contact with Carrie Oberbrunner, and she started the Elixir Project Experience. And she had some goals. She says, I want to lose 35 pounds. I want to start writing a book. I want to increase my influence online. So over this last year, this all came true. She actually lost 60 pounds. She mapped out her book, and she became a vlogger online, completing a 90-day gratitude series. And she got engaged. Well, she's actually now married. And so this is a picture of Tanisha at the beginning, right as she was starting. And this is after she had lost 50 pounds. Like we said, she's over 60 pounds now that she's lost, and she's still functioning. So she started in 2017 to do this process and made a phenomenal change in her personal life, got engaged, and is now married and living the life, living her dream, basically. So another individual that actually has gone through this program, Jeff Kramer, he wanted more clarity, wanted more focus, and wanted to create an online course. So what did he do? He unsubscribed for 140 distracting email lists. And he left 30 Facebook or LinkedIn groups and saved over $900 in unused membership sites. And he's creating his online course. So my question for you, what if you had the power to create ideas and implement them effectively? What if you were able to architect your attention and invest in the things important to you? What if you knew how to find and utilize the needed resources to accomplish your dream? What if you understood how to exponentially increase your impact upon the world? And what if you organize your life around flow, where you feel your best and you do your best? What if you truly became unhackable? Okay, so I'm going to ask you to take a step back here, take a deep breath, and then I'm going to invite you to turn off your phone, to put it away, to turn off any distractions, close your door if you need to, because over the next little bit, I'm going to teach you some key pieces that if all you did today was implement these key pieces, your life would already be changed, even without having to jump into the Unhackable program, even without having to read the book. So I'm inviting you to follow Jim Elliot's guidance that wherever you are, be all there. So get rid of all the distractions, get rid of all the things that are going to keep you from learning this process, and jump in. So now there's a warning. Once you learn this information, you will never be the same. You will never be able to go back and say, I can just be comfortable, just live with life the way it is. So, what's this process? What's going on? You've heard the word abracadabra. You probably used it when you were young. I know I did. It was usually something designed to make something magic happen, right? And that's kind of where we're at. We wanted to help make something magic happen. So, are you ready? Are you ready to make something magic happen in your life? Well, what does abracadabra really mean? It means I create as I speak. Or in other words, abracadabra is actually a Hebrew phrase meaning I create what I speak, right? Create as I speak. In Hebrew, it came to pass as it was spoken is really the exact translation. So when you're saying abracadabra, you're wanting something magical to happen. What if I could give you the power to use abracadabra in your life? So there's an example in the scriptures, whether you're religious or not is not important, but there's an example that's used from scriptures where God, at the beginning of the Bible, actually says, let there be light. And there was light. As he spoke it, it actually came to pass. And what we want to do is shorten that length between when you speak or when you desire something, when you want to reach a certain goal and having it happen. Because truthfully, you are extraordinary. You were born extraordinary. You were made in God's image, according to Genesis 1:26-31, which means you have the ability to create as you speak, to make things happen. If you just know the process, if you just know the method that you can do it. So the goal is to take an idea, to create it, which is called ideation, and from ideation to shorten the gap between ideation, the creation of an idea, and implementation, the process of putting the idea into making it real, basically. So we want to turn you into an idea factory where you can actually say, I'm going to dream it, then I can do it. Dream it, do it. Dream it, do it. Can you imagine what your life would be if you could do that? Imagine what it would be like if you could create an idea and implement it almost as quickly. So what's the real, like, what's happening to you right now? What's happening to each of us right now on a regular basis? We have an idea. We say, we kind of sit back and don't think it's that big a deal. And instead of implementation, you get to stagnation and frustration. Let me give you an example. When my oldest daughter was in elementary school, they had a invention convention, is what it was called, and she was supposed to create something as an invention. And so what we did is we sat down. I was in podiatry school at the time, and I was studying, and I was actually getting ready. And I said, "Well, I can help you." And we decided to create a pole that you could hold, that when you held it, it had a mirror on the bottom of it, which allowed individuals with peripheral neuropathy to look at the bottom of their feet, because they can't feel it, so they don't know if there's a problem. So they can actually look at the bottom of their feet. And this was a good invention. We thought of it, we talked about it, we created it, and she actually won the invention convention. Even though she was one of the younger ones that was competing, she actually won first prize for the best invention. Now, the bad news is this was a really good idea, but we didn't implement it really. We did it for the invention convention, but we never did anything more. We didn't move forward with it. A year and a half later, a product came out that was this exact product, a pole that had a mirror at the end of it that you could use to look at the bottom of your feet. And I looked at that and says, that was my idea. Well, the truth is the ideas are out there, but because I was in stagnation, I didn't work on it. We didn't implement it really because we didn't know how. Somebody else got that opportunity to create that idea and implement it, and ultimately to have more impact in the world and more income from that. So I could get really frustrated with that and say, okay, that's a problem. But the question is why? Why did my idea die at stagnation? Well, we live in a world of constant distractions. I was in medical school. I was busy. I had children, multiple children. And at that time we had 4 children, I believe. And it was something that I just didn't have time for. All good distractions. School was a good distraction. I'm glad I did it. I would not get rid of any of my children. I'm glad that I have them. But because of these distractions and not knowing how to get past them, I was unable to take my idea and implement it. In fact, if you look at it, the D-Scout research firm found that we are literally getting distracted. 2,617 touches a day to your phone. 5,427 touches for heavy users. In fact, most of us spend 5 hours a day, or 1/3 of our waking hours, on our phone or using our phone. And most of the time, it's in 30-second bursts. We're not sitting on our phone for 5 hours. We're doing little 30-second bursts, which means what's happening is instead of doing what we're supposed to do, we're missing a good portion of life. We're not getting done what needs to be done. So you're constantly getting distracted. You're constantly getting interrupted in the stuff that you're doing. And now you've got watches. So it's not just your cell phone, but you can actually have a watch that's connected to your cell phone that can actually also distract you when it's buzzing or beeping or whatever. On an average day, most people experience distracted work far more regularly than deep work. So deep work is when you're all in, you're completely working on it, and nothing is keeping you from doing that. But most of us are not functioning that way. Most of us have regular distractions. So let's talk about distractions for a minute, because that's a big deal, right? $23.5 billion is currently being spent on video games. Or actually, I should say, was being spent in 2015. It's more than that now. 11 billion hours is spent watching videos on Netflix every month. Now, with COVID-19 and with the changes that have happened with people who are at home more, this has gone up. Netflix is killing it. They're making lots more money. Amazon Prime Video is making a lots more because people are going to this as their chosen distraction because of what's going on around them. The average person sees 5,000 ads a day, sees or hears or so forth, right? And the average person makes 226.7 food decisions a day. So this is a study from Decision Fatigue from Cornell University. But with all those decisions, you're going to say, okay, I'm getting distracted by trying to decide, okay, what I'm going to eat for lunch, what I'm going to eat for dinner, what I'm going to make for my family, whatever that distraction is, they're distracting you, that's interfering with you. And the problem is, as Kerry Overrunner tells us in his book, a life of distractions will never produce a life of meaning. Why? Why would that be the case? Well, I guess the best example is multitasking. One of the biggest lies or biggest things, myths that we're told is that multitasking is possible. In fact, it is a true myth because instead of being multitasking, it's switch tasking. We never really multitask. It decreases productivity by 40% and it decreases your IQ because you're not focused at the same level as if you were stoned. So you're saying, okay, I'm reducing my IQ by multitasking. How much more productive would you be if you didn't multitask? Well, at least 40%, right? But if your IQ is higher as well, would it be more? I believe it would be. So Kerry Overrunner, the reason he created this whole process was because he had a tribe of clients, global clients, people from all over the world that had great intentions, great ideas. They wanted to write their book. They wanted to create a book, and they were getting sabotaged. They were getting sidelined. They couldn't do it. So somewhere between the process of creating the idea and implementing the idea, they were getting hacked. And that is why he decided he needed to find a solution. So my question, does this sound familiar to you? Have you ever wished that you could finish the projects you were working on? Have you ever struggled with distractions? You were saying, okay, I'm working on something, and all of a sudden my phone beeps, and I turn to it, and I find out 30 minutes later that I'm still not done with my project because I'm still on my phone. Or your dreams and your goals always getting pushed aside or pushed out to the future, saying, okay, I'll do it, but I just don't have time now. Well, this was me. I was working my head off. I was working really, really hard to help these neuropathy patients, but I couldn't do it because I was getting hacked. I was getting distracted. I was not able to do that. So what Kerry Overbrunner did is he set out on a mission to identify the problem and then find a solution. He says here, in his description, he says he hopefully would find a solution, but knowing Kerry Overbrunner the way I do, there was no option. He was going to find a solution. So he unpacked the elements of his own idea achievement, how he was able to get things done, and he dove in deep. He studied neurobiology, productivity, high performance, success, science, technology, and many other disciplines, and did extensive research and came up with the process of unhackability. Well, all of us have heard about a computer or a phone being hacked. So what he has determined is that actually, in a world of increasing distractions, unhackability is the new secret weapon of the superachiever. It's the new way to help individuals not get hacked by distractions, not get hacked by what's happening around them, and ultimately be able to reach their goals. So let me give you an example. We'll use Kerry's example, Kerry's life, because it's a good process that can actually show you exactly what he was studying as he realized this process. his goals is that he wanted to partner with Hollywood celebrities. He wanted to create an international brand and business, and he wanted to set a world record. Because of unhackability, he did each of these. So first things first, he went to Shawshank to release his book, Day Job to Dream Job, and the process was that he, Carrie Oberbrunner, became the Shawshank author because he was able to create the idea and then implement it the way it was supposed to be done. And he was called the Shawshank author by the New York Times. He didn't call himself that. The New York Times called him that. And the idea, because of it, he was actually part of the Shawshank Redemption 20-year reunion. He was invited back. And he was able to participate and sign copies of his book, Day Job to Dream Job, as part of this. And because of that, he was able to sit down with a Hollywood celebrity. Do you recognize that person? He is the warden from Shawshank Redemption, and he was able to sit down with Carrie, sign his book, sign his autograph, and as the warden, he was very, very popular. So Carrie took this goal of partnering with a Hollywood celebrity, and he was able to work with the warden to release his Day Job to Dream Job, or present his Day Job to Dream Job book. The second one, he wanted to create an international brand in business. So he created Author Academy Elite. And Author Academy Elite was able to help individuals all over the world publish their books. So a lot of times when you publish, you've got a traditional publisher, which are really hard to get into, or you can self-publish. This was a different process, and this was actually created so that people could actually publish their book with Author Academy Elite and be able to do what they needed to do. So we come back to me here. James the Band of Fire, my book was published by Author Academy Elite. Because of my connection, because of me getting in with Carrie Oberbrunner, I was able to also implement something that I wanted to do. Now, I have 11 children. And each of my children, I like them to understand that they are extraordinary. I like them to understand that they can do anything that they want to set their mind to, and that they can set goals and reach goals and really become extraordinary in whatever they want to do. I have a daughter, my oldest daughter, who's actually writing books. She has 2 books that she's working on getting published. And as she was writing these books, I says, okay, you know what? I don't know how to get books published. So I decided I was going to go through the process. And I sat down and wrote a fiction fantasy book, James and the Band of Fire, about a 12-year-old boy, and decided I was going to get it published. And I started looking into traditional publishers, and I looked into self-publishing, and none of them actually really worked. In fact, the traditional publishers said they'd be interested, but it'd be a year or more before they could actually publish my book. And I says, okay, that's not going to work with me. I found Carrie Oberbrunner, I found Author Academy Elite, and I stepped in, published my book, got it to the point that it was released in July, on July 24th, 2018. And in 2019, I won the Author Academy Award for the best fantasy book of 2019. All because of Author Academy Elite, this program that Carrie created to help individuals reach their dreams of becoming an author. Now, I've got that book. That's the first book. I've got book 2 coming out soon. I'm in the process of finishing it up so that it can actually be released as well. And James and the Band of Fire is the first book in the Band of Fire series, which is the first of 7 books. And so there's more to come. Thanks to Author Academy Elite and thanks to Carrie Oberbrunner's ability to take his idea and implement it in such a way that there are authors from all over the world that are getting their books published. So the third was he wanted to break a world record, or actually was able to break a world record in the release of his Elixir Project book. So, and so he did a global release party on December 6, 2016. And in this global release, he had 7.6 thousand views on his live feed that he was doing, 215 shares, over 1,000 comments, and he was able to break the record because he had over 7,000 views, 180 events around the world, 157 satellite cities, 15 countries, 6 continents, and the world record was broken with the release of his Elixir Project book. So the next thing is, so what are those things that you wrote down? Let's talk about you. What would need to happen to make these next 30 days your most amazing month on the planet Earth? The problem is you've been hacked. In fact, you're getting hacked on a regular basis. You're getting hacked moment after moment because you don't recognize it and you don't know how to get past it. So, reminder, when you have something get hacked, it's something has gained unauthorized access to a system or computer. So why does hacking happen? Well, there's multiple reasons. Cybercrime, of course, hacktivism, which is just people just hacking us because they want to, espionage, warfare. But the truth is, the industry is actually hacking you in these ways. If you look at this, a lot of money is being spent in the process of trying to get your attention, to buy your attention. Instead of making you buy a product, they want to just buy your attention, get your focus, get your information here. So to gain unauthorized access to a system or computer would mean that you've been hacked. So how can you be hacked? You're not a computer, right? You're not a system or computer. Well, the body is made up of systems. It's made up of a skeletal system, muscular system, circulatory system, digestive system, respiratory, endocrine, lymphatic, reproductive, nervous, urinary. All of these systems can be hacked. There's a process called where your health is being hacked, which can indirectly affect many of these systems. You can also have the process of just being distracted that could actually cause you to get these systems hacked. And your brain is the most powerful computer in the world. So you could be hacked by the systems of your body or the brain, the computer that is your brain. And so why is this important? Why does it matter if you're being hacked? Well, Carl Jung actually said the most damaging thing in the life of a child is the unlived life of the parent. So when you're not doing what you should be doing, ultimately you're affecting more individuals than just you. But I want to change that. I want to take that a little bit further and say the most damaging thing in the life of a child is actually the parent who has been hacked so that they can't live their life. So they're not living their dream. They're not reaching their goals. So to help you understand that you're being hacked, I need to help you find a couple of key pieces of the puzzle, okay? You need to identify, for example, the culprit. Why are you being hacked? Where is it happening? And how are you getting hacked, I guess, is the other part of this. So you're getting hacked by when others don't approve, or you think they don't approve. By the economy, by time, by distractions that we've already talked about, right? By money, by fear that nobody will promote you, or concern that you don't have a team, How are you going to do this? Well, let me teach you a principle that Carrie Overburner taught me years ago about the difference between a victim and a victor. A victim lies in bed. They focus on the blame, excuses, and denial. Whereas a victor focuses on ORD, ownership, accountability, and responsibility. Now, I want to take this just a step further here. You come back. I want to look at you face to face again for a second here. We take you just a step further here. You say, okay, how does this apply to me? Blame, excuses, denial, or bad. If you're lying in bed, if you're just blaming, making excuses and denying that it can happen, you're in that victim mentality and you're unable to continue to succeed. If, however, you say, okay, I'm going to take ownership, I'm going to have personal accountability, I'm going to take responsibility, then you take that at war and you're actually able to start moving along the path to reaching your goal, to really becoming who you can become, to say, okay, I'm going to get there, I'm going to accomplish what I want to accomplish. And that's a big deal. It really is. So let's jump back to slides here. And let's make sure that you're thinking as a victor instead of a victim. So you identified the one piece. The second piece is the conspiracy. So if you were to go search the internet, the FBI, and there's been some news programs that have actually found that cars are getting hacked, and that they really can be, that you can actually take over the steering wheel, take over the brake, and take over the blinkers and actually change the way that's functioning. If you were to go to search on Google or on YouTube, you can actually see videos of news individuals where they're actually driving down the road and their car gets hacked and they lose control. They can't control it. Even though they knew it was coming, it surprises them, and it's a big deal. So you're going to have a hack attack, or you're having a hack attack in your life right now. And what happens is you lose control, you lose clarity, you lose competence, you lose confidence, and ultimately you start to lose the insights, influence, impact, and income that you want. So how does that happen? Well, let me show you here. Control, when you start to think that you're not in charge. I am not in charge. You've given away control. Clarity, I'm confused. I don't understand exactly what I'm trying to do. Competence, I'm not good enough. And confidence, I'm an imposter. Have you ever had the feeling of being an imposter, saying, I just don't know if I belong here? That's a form of being hacked. Where actually, you're hacking yourself in all four of these because you've made the decision that you're not in charge. You are letting yourself be confused. You have determined you're not good enough, and you worry that you may be an imposter. And what happens with that? Then ultimately you start to lose insight because you have no inner vision. You have no effect on others. I have no credibility. I have no currency. Or I don't have the funds I need to make this happen. And the problem is, because of the hacks that you're doing 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 actually become a reality, and they really do happen. So what's the real problem? You have a problem with your identity, and you have a problem with resources. So a lot of times you think you're nobody, and you think you have nothing. And that's a problem. That is the fact that you have been hacked. So what is the cost? So you've identified the culprit, you've identified the basically you've identified the culprit, you've identified the conspiracy, and you've identified, and now you need to identify the cost. So what's at stake if you get hacked? Well, the truth is, it's going to affect your relationships. It's going to affect your peace, especially your peace of mind. It's going to affect your success. You're not going to be able to accomplish the things that you're trying to accomplish. It can affect your health. Your systems get hacked. Your body, you can actually be less healthy because you're spending more time trying to do things that can be done more quickly. It's going to affect your freedom. You're not going to be able to move forward on your purpose. It's going to directly affect your finances. And as it affects your finances, it will ultimately affect the legacy that you leave. And because of that, it'll affect your joy and can affect your reputation. It's a pretty good problem to have, isn't it? If you say, okay, if I could have all of these not get hacked, if I could improve my relationships, increase my peace, increase my success, ensure that I have good health, protect my freedom, move forward with purpose, have the finances that I need to not just do what I need to do, but to be able to do some of the things I want to do. If I could leave a legacy for those around me, especially for my family and my children, if I could experience real joy on a daily, regular basis, and if I could increase the reputation, what is that worth to you? So that's where the process of unhackability makes the biggest difference. And the process of unhackability is three things. It's idea, focus, and flow. Now I'm going to go a little bit further into this. So the first thing first is flawless idea anatomy. It's not just a matter of having an idea, but you need to know how to create that idea in such a way that it can be implemented. So it shortens the process of being able to implement it. So again, abracadabra is I create as I speak. And so what you need to be able to do is create the correct idea. Ideas don't change the world. Perfect ideas do. Imagine being able to go through and dissect that perfect idea and say, okay, what are the components? What do I need to do to make it happen? How do I reverse engineer this process so I can leverage them for results? Well, the truth is, the unhackable process has cracked the code and discovered the truth that really anything is possible if you do it the right way. So flawless idea anatomy really has some key pieces, some very, very important points here, okay? So the question is, do you recognize these individuals? I know the middle picture is just a picture, and it may not be, but the truth is, what do these three individuals have in common? Well, do you know who they are? What if I said the first one gave the I have a dream speech and was it because he had the perfect idea? What if the second one we said, okay, gave the Sermon on the Mount, and the third one was the speech to get a man on the moon? There's a process that they each utilized to create a flawless idea. So Carey did the same thing, as you remember. He created the three different things. Shawshank Hollywood Celebrities, created a global brand of business, and set world records. All because he knew how to create the flawless idea. He knew the flawless idea anatomy and what the process was to put that in place. Second step is deliberate magnetic focus. So the point is with deliberate magnetic focus is you want to be able to say, okay, I want to go not just to an idea, but I want to be able to take that idea to the next thing, to implementation, to really make it a real thing. So what would that take to really help you take your idea and create that dynamic, deliberate magnetic focus? Well, many of you have been outside before and you've been sunburned. If you're out in the sun long enough, you'll get sunburned because of the heat of the sun. But what if you were to take that exact same sun and put a magnifying glass and to focus that power, focus those rays, what would happen? What would be the ultimate result? The truth is you can create a fire. Instead of just burning something, you can actually create a fire and you can burn it significantly faster. So let me introduce you to the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, because there's really a big difference between the two. The reticular activating system, or the RAS filter, can actually help you go from your conscious mind, where you process 40 to 200 bits of information a second, and use the unconscious mind, which processes 4 billion bits of information a second. So the idea is what it's doing is it's protecting your conscious mind. Because you can only focus that much, it's allowing the unconscious mind to do the things that are not important, that you're not focused on. And so it creates a filter, the RAS filter, to let you focus on those things that are important. So what are you telling your RAS filter? What are you telling your unconscious mind when it comes to you? What are you focused on? Because that makes a difference, right? So are you one of those that's saying, nothing ever goes my way? The whole world is against me. I'm a loser. I failed like I always do. What is going to happen if that's the case? What happens is you start to notice the ways that you actually aren't getting everything the way it's supposed to be. You're noticing how the world's against you. You're noticing how you failed and keep failing. And you look for ways to make sure that you do fail, that you can prove that you really are a loser. Because the RAS filter will focus on what you're focused on. So, for example, if you decide you're going to buy a new car, and you decide that car, whatever it is, it's a red Hummer, then you'll start to notice all the red Hummers around you that you didn't notice before, because it's now something that you've told your mind's eye to focus on. Same thing, when ladies become pregnant, they start to focus on the fact, and they notice everybody else that is pregnant around them. So what we need to do is help that mind's eye focus on the right things. So that you're focusing on the things that you want to attract in your life, and not the things that you don't want to. So let's work on that. There's 3 focus filters, 3 ways that you can focus. The first one is urgency. And as you create your urgency, you can actually focus on that. The second one is agency. And the third one is energy. So urgency, agency, and energy. And as you focus on those 3 things, you create those focus filters, then you can actually move forward. I would love to go a little bit more depth in that, but I'm actually going over time already. I need to go a little bit faster because we're running out of time here. So the third one is flow, which actually produces optimal human performance. So the optimal human performance is the peak performance state where you do your best and you feel your best. We know about this. We talk about this all the time. People get into flow. Runners have the runner's high, where they just feel good and just seems to go better, where you kind of get past the point where you're actually having a hard time running. Jazz musicians are playing in the pocket. Basketball players are said to be in the zone. And truthfully, they sometimes even just use the word flow. They say, oh, he's in flow today. He's actually really doing it. So what we want to do is give you the ability to activate flow on demand and be able to put it into your life. So the characteristics of flow are total absorption. So number 1, you want to get into the deep now. And the deep now makes it so the past loses its power and the future loses its promise. And you say, okay, I'm just going to focus on what I'm doing right now, the most important thing. The second is extreme focus. And Captain Soley is a good example of this. He landed the plane in the Hudson. And the reason why is because he got into extreme focus. He was asked if he was praying, and he says, no, I figured all the people behind me were taking care of that. I was just focused on flying the plane. So he was focused on the landing while everybody else was doing the other pieces. He didn't let himself get distracted. He had extreme focus and just decided what he was going to do. Time dilation. Now, this is a neat thing. When you're in flow, time can either speed up or slow down. Have you ever been with a friend you hadn't seen for a long time, and time just seems to fly by? Well, that's the process of time dilation, where you're saying, okay, we were together for hours, and it seemed like minutes. That's time can also slow down, so it can actually allow you to do things at a quicker rate. Vanishing sense of self. One of our biggest hacks is we focus on ourselves, we're worried about ourselves, we're worried about those situations. So if you can make that disappear, it works really, really well. And you can actually shut off the inner critic. So in in the movie Dead Poet Society, sorry, we actually see this example as Robin Williams, as a teacher, helps put one of his students who doesn't believe in himself into flow. And he actually takes him and he shuts off. He has him close his eyes. He actually spins him around. He actually changes the way he's working. So he puts him in a situation where he has prefrontal cortex shuts off, so he's not worried about himself. And he has transient hyperfrontality, is what it's called, where he's actually just focused on what he's working on. And if you remember, he was able to create an amazing poem that impressed the class as soon as Robin Williams was able to get him in to flow, take him through that process of silencing or vanishing the inner critic, vanishing sense of self. And fifth is optimal high performance. And basically what you're doing is you're increasing the work that you're doing to 500 times. The psychologist, I'm not going to say his name right again. I actually was practicing and I still don't remember it. So studied thousands of subjects, from sculptors to factory workers, and asked them to record their feelings at intervals throughout the working process. And what he found is that when individuals were in flow, they frequently experienced more productivity and derived greater satisfaction from this. And this greater satisfaction, they found, was 5 times more productive, 5 times more ability to get things done. And so basically, this is not 5% more productive. This is 500% more productive. And it happens much faster. They're saying it actually happens somewhere between 200 to 500 times faster. So if you were to think about that, you could actually say, okay, most individuals accomplish a certain stuff throughout the week, and they struggle on Monday, they work through the week, and they get excited for Friday for the weekend. So they're basically working the whole week for the weekend. And what can happen if we can put you in flow, then what we can do is we can actually help you accomplish on Monday what most individuals, most of your competition, are doing the entire week. And that's the productivity we're talking about. But it goes even further than this. There's science to this. There actually goes to the point where it shifts the brain waves. So you actually go from struggle, and we're getting brain waves are being released, beta brain waves are being released, you're getting cortisol and norepinephrine in the body, and you're saying, okay, I'm going to switch it to alpha brain waves, which is the release, where nitric oxide starts to be released in the system. And then I'm going to switch to theta and gamma brain waves. We have dopamine, endorphins, and anandamides released, and that's where you're in flow. And then the part that a lot of people forget about is then you switch from flow to recovery. So you can't stay in flow. You need to have flow periods, and then you need to have recovery periods, and then flow periods and recovery periods. And by doing that, you continue to be more and more and more productive. So this is from studies done by Herb Benson at Harvard, and it's a phenomenal study, and it's something that through the Unhackable process, we can help you move through these 4 cycles and get in true flow. In fact, it will actually ultimately shorten the gap to mastery. So as you can put your brain into full focus, as you can put your brain into flow, you'll be able to accomplish much more. So there's a group, DARPA, which is the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency of the U.S. Department of Defense, that is using this process, using flow. to prepare snipers. What they're doing is they basically say they're zapping the brain to induce flow and cut down the training time significantly. So they're using this process to put people in the flow and to help them do that. This is the same idea that was utilized in the Matrix, even though this was fiction. There's a way to do it, in fact, in real life. But in Matrix, what they would do is they would download a program into their brain that would teach them the skills they need, how to fight, how to fly a helicopter or whatever, through this process of implementing it in their brain. But we're doing it already. We're doing it in sports right now. Surfing has been around for 1,000 years, right? It's been being done for 1,000 years. 20 years ago, the biggest wave ever ridden was 25 feet. But in 1992, the biggest gap ever cleared was 40 feet. And today, that jump is 230 feet. So what's the difference? We're getting better at getting our athletes and our individuals into flow. Same thing with gymnastics. If you were to look at gymnastics years ago, the Olympic gold medalist of gymnastics, you say, okay, that's great, but they don't look as impressive as the gymnasts today that are getting the gold medal, that are earning what they need to do. This is absolutely amazing if you were to compare right next to each other. If you do a YouTube search for gymnastics over the years, you can actually see the two different side by side, and you'll be amazed at the difference that can be made here. And large amounts of neurochemicals are released to the body to actually help in the process. So the most common released chemical when we get into a process where we're trying to get something done is adrenaline. But the problem with adrenaline is it only gives you two options. You either fight or flight. And flow expands your options. So instead of just getting adrenaline, you're saying, okay, let's get some other things as well. Get norepinephrine, which increases the heart rate, emotional control, and attention. So it's going to improve your attention, your ability to see what's going on. Dopamine, it gives you superhuman focus, allows you to recognize patterns and enhance your skills and to improve the skills and so forth. Endorphins, to withstand discomfort, because when you get into flow, sometimes the things you're going to do are going to be hard, and this endorphins allow you to get past that. Anandamide actually augments the ability to bring things together, to understand, and they call it lateral thinking, thinking outside the box. And serotonin allows you to stay on task in spite of the pain. So endorphins to withstand discomfort, and the serotonin to keep you on task even though. So in flow, you get all of these, and you get to really start to experience things in a different way. So anyone can experience flow if you know how to do it, if you know how to augment it, if you know how to make it happen. Let me give you some examples. Wendy Gentry is a friend of mine, and she decided she wanted to complete her PhD, wanted to get her dream job, and she wanted to start a podcast. Well, within that year of working on the Unhackable process, she completed her PhD. She landed her dream job, which she's still working at and loving, and she launched her podcast. In fact, she said this as a post actually talking about the process. This program was the key to helping me identify my boon and translate it into an online business and podcast framework that I'm so excited to nurture. I will be joining the January with a focus on a component of my launch. So she started January that next year, ready to fully implement these things because of the Unhackable process. So today was a training or an event. We actually taught you some key pieces. I taught you that you can actually do this through some simple processes, right? That if you were to just implement the following things, if you say, okay, I'm going to create flawless idea anatomy, use flawless idea anatomy to create my idea, have deliberate magnetic focus, and function at optimal human performance, then I'll be able to reach my goals and live my dream and ultimately enjoy the extraordinary life. But this training hasn't given you enough details. There's so much more information that I need to give you. And that's why I want to teach you or give you the opportunity to participate in this process. When we started, if you remember, I actually told you that my goal was to show you that becoming unhackable was the only way that you're going to really reach your goals and live your dream in 2021. And so, what I want to do, if you give me permission, what I'd like to do today is give you the opportunity to take the next step and do this. And what will happen is on the 11th of January, let me make sure that my calendar here. On the 11th of January, I will be starting an Be Unhackable course that will help you do this. So let's keep going. Let's go a little bit further in the slides, and then we'll come back to this process here. So I want to give you the process because it's going to encourage development. It's going to help you move on, because you may have just learned some great stuff and you're saying, great, that's outstanding. Now what? So I'm going to give you a private invitation to the Elixir Project Experience, or the Unhackable course, where you can actually learn to be truly extraordinary. So you can get to this right now. So if you're saying, okay, I'm already in, I already want to go for it, then go to www.beunhackable/unhackable. And you will actually be able to start the process right now. But you may be saying, well, I can't do that. I don't know what it's going to cost. Well, the question for you is, how much is your dream worth? So as you remember, we introduced you to Tanisha. What was her dream worth? She went through this Unhackable program and she got everything she was dreaming for. She's now living her dream. Last year, Laura wanted the following. She wanted to expand her ministry for grieving parents. She wanted to host a virtual summit. She wanted to increase her speaking. This year, Laura did. She wrote 2 books, became a national speaker, and hosted her own virtual summit. And she says, since the time I have learned how to flow in a much more productive way, I have learned how to more effectively go from an idea to actually seeing it through with limited or no distractions to derail me. So the idea, she has become easily 500% more effective because of this Unhackable process. What was her dream worth? How much does it cost to become unhackable? Well, what does it cost if you get hacked? Remember, it's going to affect your relationships, your peace, your success, your health, your freedom, your purpose, your finance, your legacy, your joy, your reputation. We are getting hacked, and unhackability is the new secret weapon of super achievers in every area. So beunhackable.com/unhackable. So what would need to happen to make these next 30 days your most amazing month on planet Earth? What would need to happen to make 2021 the greatest year of your life? The truth is, you'd need to become unhackable. And only if you become unhackable can you actually truly accomplish what you want to do, because we're getting hacked on a daily basis. You don't want to have Groundhog Day, Groundhog Month, or Groundhog Year where you say, okay, at the end of 2021, you're looking back and say, well, if only I had done this, this, and this, I'd be where I want to be now. Because the problem is, what if you're living in a groundhog life right now? So what's it going to cost? What would it cost you to do this? So first thing, let me tell you what you're going to get here. Number one, you're going to get daily video trainings. Actually, what I should do, let me take you right into the course here, because I think that will help you here. The truth is it is very, very important that we actually get you the information that you need to truly move forward with this. So Tell you what, we'll pull that up here in just a second. Let's keep going. So the day trade, $997. But what if we add to that exclusive training webinars? So you've got 5 webinars that go into even more depth. Then the value is $1,994. But that's not it. That's not all we get. We actually give you the EPX guidebook. This is 357 pages of in-depth information for $497. That's $2,491. And we can take you a step further. You can say, okay, wait a second. I might need some help with this. I'm not sure that I can do this by myself. Well, I'm going to give you weekly live coaching where we'll actually be on a Zoom call or on a call where we can actually walk you through the process. You can ask your questions. You can actually make sure you understand what's going on. And this will be happening weekly. That's why we've got to start the course all together on the 11th of January so we can actually help you move forward with this process. That's $3,788 in value. And then there's some additional bonuses that actually come with this process here that we want to give you as well. And that's kind of it. Let me kind of show you. Let me jump you to this here. I'm going to walk you. We're going to go back here and we're going to walk you through this. So we got the $4,085, right? But we're going to stop sharing here. We're going to share a different screen so that I can actually show you what's going on here. So if it will let me, struggling here. Let's try again. So now what we're doing here is you can actually see you got 5 exclusive training webinars. You got 30 plus videos dripped on to you for a day on a daily basis. You got the Elixir Project Guidebook. You get the valuable bonuses, which is lifetime access to deeper comprehension applications. So you can go through this, you can do it over and over and over again. The guidebook actually ties in directly with it. And you got practical case studies in each of the lessons to help you with that process. And that gives you some additional value right there. And so that's just a piece of the puzzle here that is very, very important. Let's go back to our slideshow. So what's that value? $4,085. But there's another piece of this. We got private coaching community. So as becoming part of this, you can actually be in a community with us where you can actually you can ask your questions, you get information from me regularly. I'm in that group at least daily. But you can also get access to other individuals so you can see where other people are succeeding. And as a group, you'll become significantly more successful. So it's worth much more than $4,085 because of that group. And the good news is you say, okay, what about this? We're giving you 30 days, 100% guarantee for those that engage. So it's important. You have to participate. You can't just say, I'm going to buy the group, buy it, and then just not do it. You need to go through the 30 days and actually show that you're doing it. And if it doesn't work for you, we will give you back your money. We'll give you back that all the money that you're actually looking for. But there's more that comes with this. There's also an unhackability assessment and a flow assessment that are free that will allow you to determine if it's working. You can actually go through the flow assessment on day 1, and then on the end of the process, you can go through it again, and you can show that you're actually better at idea, focus, and flow, and ultimately you can improve significantly. And we have example after example of individuals that are doing this and showing that it's really, really working to the point where you can actually get to the point where you're truly unhackable 100% of the time. So the question for you really is, if I could help you in the next 30 days, it's actually a little bit longer than that because we're starting the 11th, but for the 11th, 30 days from the 11th, to start reaching your goals and living your dream, would it be worth $5,000? Would it? Because that's the question. If it's worth $5,000, then what are you waiting for, right? But I'm going to actually make it even better for you. Let's jump right back to the slides here because I'm going to give you even more. So just with what you've already got, it's worth $5,000, right? But I'm going to give you the opportunity to participate for free in the Ignite Your Happiness 21-Day Challenge. This is a $297 value. And what it's going to do is we're going to take you through the process and teach you how to change your happiness. Say, okay, I'm going to actually be in complete control of my own happiness. So one of the ways that I find that we are commonly being hacked is we're letting other people decide for us if we're happy, mad, or sad. Where I want to give you the tools outside of the Unhackable program. This is an additional program that I'm going to give you for free to teach you how to be unhackable. It's a process I'm taking my children through to help them learn how to not have their happiness dependent on other individuals. And that's starting on the 18th of January, 2021. So basically you could be taking these two simultaneously and go through and get, by the end of the 30 days, you're saying, I'm choosing my own happiness on a daily basis, but I'm also unhackable and reaching my goals, living my dream. There are also additional bonuses that are built into the Unhackable program. One is to help how to get clients that insist on paying triple your rates. Bonus 1 of 3. The idea is it gives you a little bit more ability to make money with your boom. The next fast action bonus for those that jump in as part of this is you get the opportunity to find a coach, be a coach, and get more clients than you can handle. So you can actually launch your own coaching business if you wanted to. Again, if you would like to purchase, you can go to beunhackable.com/unhackable. You can move forward. So let me tell you a story. Jerry Seinfeld actually is considered one of the great comics. And what he talks about is he says he took the idea of jokes to the next level. So commonly you'll think, okay, someone's going to say, okay, I'm going to take a joke, and I'm just going to go out and I'm going to, because I'm just a good comic, I'm going to be able to do it over and over and over again and make it happen. Jerry Seinfeld says that the secret was to not break the chain. So what he did is he said he wrote a joke every single day, and he would cross it out on his calendar, and once you get a certain distance in there, he says it got to the point where you'd say, I'm just not going to break the chain. So what we're doing, we're giving you the ability to not break the chain by becoming unhackable and taking it day by day by day. The reason we do it over a 30-day period initially is to get you committed to it. And then what I do is I add an additional 2 months after that where we're working with you still and helping you implement this so it truly becomes a habit. So that in 30 days it becomes a basic habit, but you start make it part of your life so that every single day you're able to put yourself into flow and become truly unhackable in those things you're trying to accomplish. It's been done. It's been done over and over and over again with individuals just because they learned how to be unhackable so they could actually take their dreams and make them a reality. So they can start to live their dream. If you look on the top picture, you can actually see me right there in the middle in the red shirt because I was able to get my book published. So what I'm inviting you to do is to determine for yourself if it's worth $4,976. Or if the $5,000 is too much to help you reach your dream. Well, let me jump you back and tell you the real price, because I'm not going to charge you $5,000. I'm not going to even charge you $2,000. In fact, let me show you. And the truth is, this hasn't even been updated. I've actually done some, oops, wrong share. We'll share the other screen here. Okay, do it again here. Try again. So what we're doing here for this, giving you all this information, all this stuff, what we're doing instead is we're giving you the $400 off the normal price of $1,297. So we're actually sell it to you for $897. Now you'll notice not everything that is listed here, because these are things I just added just for you. So they're not necessarily listed, but you're still going to get them. You'll still receive those extra bonuses. You'll still receive the happiness challenge, Ignite Your Happiness Challenge, as part of this. So all you need to do is go to beunhackable.com, Unhackable, and we can give it to you for $897. Now this is only available for a limited time, and we can only do a certain number of people. The truth is, I would love to say, okay, I'm going to have hundreds of people in this program. I'm going to have hundreds of people that are going to participate, but I can't. I'm not able to coach and help with hundreds of people. So we're limited in the number of individuals that will be able to participate. And it also is starting on August 11th. So if you're not signed up before August 11th, you'll have to wait till we open it up again. So I'm inviting you to participate. I'm inviting you to become part of this. And I'm inviting you to commit just $897 to change your life so that you can reach your goals, live your dream, and enjoy an extraordinary life. Is it worth $897? Jump in. Don't miss the opportunity to become part of the Unhackable program. This is Dr. Rank Gibson, and this has been the Be Unhackable web class that's teaching you how to become unhackable yourself. And I invite you to jump in and join this program for just $897 at beunhackable.com, www.beunhackable.com/unhackable, and you can truly live the extraordinary life that you deserve to live. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.